my name is Ashley, and thanks for joining me on the mat today. We'll be practicing a little bit of a funky flow, connecting to the integrated strength of our core, but specifically through the side body, and noticing how that helps us connect to our legs and our arms, so all of our limbs. So when you're ready, let's meet in a comfortable seat, whether that's cross-legged like me or seated, kneeling on your heels. But find a nice grounded space of the hips and allow the spine to grow tall. Imagine that the shoulders are softening down, the shoulder blades even starting to reach gently towards each other and then down the spine. Lifting gently up through the sternum as well as the crown of the head. Go ahead and close the eyes. Taking a few gentle inhales through the nose and even exhales through the mouth to ground yourself, to meet ourselves on the mat. In through the nose. Exhale to release, softening through the belly. Inhale, breathing into the low belly and the sides of the waist, the side ribs. Exhale, keeping the spine long, soften the ribs in. And inhale from the low belly through the rib cage up to the upper back, even up to the shoulders. Hold at the top. Sip in a little more air through the nose. Big exhale through the mouth. And then rolling the shoulders up and back a few times, blinking open through the eyes. Let's start practice with a little bit of movement through the spine. So interlace the hands, place the hands behind the back of the neck or at the base of the hairline. But either way, either the thumbs or the pinky edges of the hands at the base of the hairline there, so you can gently pull up on the skin of the back of the neck there, lengthening through the back of the neck. As we inhale, think elbows back, shoulder blades draw together. Peel the chest forward, maybe even lift the chin. As we exhale, draw everything inwards. Round the upper back, shoulder blades draw apart, elbows draw in, chin rests down. Let's continue just a couple rounds of that. So reaching the heart open, elbows wide with the inhale. Exhale, round and draw in. One more time, inhale. Following the pace of your own breath. And then keep reaching the clasped hands all the way up with your inhale. This time, palms pressing away from the crown of the head. Think of lifting the upper arms and the rib cage out of the torso. As we exhale, let's side bend to the right. Inhale, lengthen through both sides of the waist. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, arms up. This time, release the clasp of the hands, palms face in. As we exhale, release the hands down into the lap. Continue to walk the hands forward. Inhale, flat back as you start to forward fold. As we exhale, find a gentle fold over the legs, again, whether you're kneeling or cross-legged. Just giving a bit of space to the low back. You can decide how far forward you're walking the hands to find stretch through the arms, or walk the hands closer to you so you can bend at the elbows. A full breath into the low belly. Softening with the exhale. Inhale, start to come up. And then let's exhale and switch the cross of the legs. If we're cross-legged, if you are still kneeling, then stay kneeling, just making sure that we can sit tall. Once more, rooting down into the hips, rise up tall, soften the shoulders and shoulder blades, sternum, crown of the head, lifting up towards the sky. Yeah. Inhale, sweep the arms up this time, fingertips or palms touch. Let's begin to move through the spine. Exhale, twisting to the right side. Right fingertips just touch behind you. Broaden through the chest with your inhale. As we exhale, draw the chin down towards the chest. So the gaze is slightly towards that right knee, but the chin lowers down to lengthen through the back of the neck. Breathe into the left back ribs here. inhale, bring the chin up to neutral, still gazing past that right knee. As we exhale, melt the right ear down towards the right shoulder, maybe even down towards the upper back. So stretching through the side of the neck this time. Inhale, come to neutral. Exhale, feel those right ribs wrap around. Then slowly unwind back to center. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Fingertips or palms touch. Exhale, twisting over to the left side. Left fingertips plant behind you, opposite arm to opposite knee. Broaden through the chest with the inhale. Exhale, draw the chin down towards the chest, but the gaze is over towards the direction of your left knee. This time, breathe into the opposite right rib cage, the back of the right ribs. Inhale, lift the gaze, remain in our seated twist. As we exhale, this time the left ear is going to melt down towards the left shoulder or even down the upper back, as though that ear is melting down the upper back there. So we're stretching the opposite side of the neck. Bring the chin to neutral with the inhale. Keep noticing that rotation, the wrapping of the left ribs with the exhale. Then let's slowly unwind. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Fingertips or palms may join above the head. Then exhale, hands come down through heart center, passing through the lap. Walk the hands forward. Another gentle fold. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, your choice of how far or how much of a stretch you would like to feel in the arms or in the sides of the waist as we fold. So breathe into the low back space energetically. And notice what it also feels like to breathe into the side ribs, almost like we're expanding the space between the rib bones. Inhale, start to walk yourself up. Exhale, remain in your comfortable seat, whether that's seated or kneeling. You can always switch the style of seating that you would like to be in as well. But take a moment to let the hands rest in the lap. Close the eyes. Come back to that sense of rooting down through the hips to grow tall through the spine, lifting gently up through the sternum. And then the crown of the head rises up towards the sky as well. Shoulder blades gently melt down the back to support the heart space. Broaden across the collarbones. Let the elbows, wrists be soft. Breathe into the whole belly, the whole rib cage, the upper back, and the heart space. And in this moment of stillness, take a moment to call forth your intention. Whether that be something personal, or whether it be something simple like allowing yourself to be present, or giving yourself permission to simply notice. And so planting that intention like a heart seed right here in the heart space. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. From here, we're going to take our comfortable seat and come forward into a tabletop. So hands forward in front of you, roll over the ankles, step the knees back to find your tabletop. Stacking shoulders over wrists, hips over the knees. Let's connect to our spine with a gentle cat-cow. Melt the belly, reach the heart forward, lift the gaze forward for the inhale. Exhale, arms straighten as you press the floor away, round through the upper back. Inhale, belly reaches down, heart pulls forward, lift the gaze. Exhale, crown of the head starts to draw towards the floor, tailbone as well, round the upper back. Continuing on, inhale, melt the belly, reach the heart forward into cow pose. This time as we exhale, press the floor away, pass through cat pose, feet together, and then draw the knees out wide for child's pose. We're here for a moment. Inhale, looking at the hands, bring the hands over to the right side of the mat. Keep reaching through the fingertips. As we exhale, draw the outer left hip crease away in the opposite direction. And then inhale, walk the hands past center all the way to the left side. Keep reaching again through the fingertips. Exhale, sink the outer right hip crease away. So it's reaching in opposite directions from hip to fingertips. Inhale, walk the hands to center. As we exhale, come back to our tabletop. Inhale from here, tuck the right toes under, knit the ribs in for support across the mid-back. Exhale, stretch that right foot back, but keep the toes on the earth. Keep firming that right heel back so much that you're stretching through the calf muscle there, and also let's firm through the right quad. As we inhale, push the floor away, start to pour weight into that left hand. As we exhale, the left shin kicks out to the side at an angle, spin the right heel down. With weight pouring into that left arm, left hand, inhale, sweep the right arm up. Exhale, side bend, reach that top arm up and over. Option here to keep that top arm up and over or to stack once more. This time find energy and strength in both the right leg reaching down and pressing into the earth, as well as that left hand. Lift up through this lower left oblique. Imagine that the hips are also lifting up towards the sky as they stack over each other. From here, inhale as you push the floor away with that left hand. Option as we exhale, pick up that left knee, step the left foot behind you, coming into a side plank. So the feet are not stacked in this variation, they're right in front of each other. Inhale, reach that top arm up and over. Exhale, right hand to the earth, knees to the ground, tabletop, returning there. Releasing through that side, inhale, melt the belly, reach the heart forward for cow pose. Exhale, continue to roll through the spine, cat pose all the way back to your balasana, your child's pose. Lengthen through the low back. Inhale here, halfway lift through the chest. This time the left arm threads underneath the right. Exhale, a gentle twist in our child's pose. Breathe into the space between the shoulder blades in the upper back. Inhale, unwind, plant the left palm. Exhale, right arm threads underneath the left. Gentle twist on the other side. Notice how that broadens across the upper back here, so breathe into the space between the shoulder blades. Unwind with the inhale, both hands at the top of the mat. Exhale, come back to your tabletop. Inhale, pressing the floor away, so really engaging through the arms, tuck the left toes. Exhale, straighten the left leg back in space. Toes are still on the earth. Let's reach that left heel back, so we're stretching through the calf muscle, starting to turn on engagement of the left quad. As we exhale, continue to push the floor away, but pour weight to the right hand this time. Inhale, that right shin kicks out to the side at an angle. Exhale, peel the left heel down, reach the left arm up. Finding your side plank variation. Inhale, top arm sweeps up and over. And then you can remain here or start to take that left arm, stacking it once more. Remember from here, the lower oblique, this time it's the right side, is reaching up towards the sky. Even though the outer hips are also stacking, think of them reaching up towards the sky as well. Inhale, press the floor away with the right hand and with the left foot. Exhale, option to lift the right knee, that right shin, and step the right foot behind the left, coming into a side plank variation. Inhale, top arm can sweep up and over. Exhale, take the left hand down, take the knees back to the earth, finding your tabletop. Let's let that go. Inhale, melt the belly, reach the heart forward. Exhale, pass through cat pose, meet in your child's pose. Knees wide, hips back, forehead towards the earth. And you can go ahead and stay in your child's pose here, really taking the time to not only lengthen the hips back to lengthen that side body and the low back here, but breathe into the soft space of the low belly. Breathe into the space around the sides of the upper arms. Breathe into the space between the shoulder blades. and then allowing the arms to grow strong. Press the palms down, especially pressing into those base knuckles and the fingertip pads. Inhale, lift the hips to tuck the toes. Exhale, peel the hips up and back, reaching into our downward facing dog. And we're taking about 5 breaths here in our downward dog, so feel free to find movement, pedaling through the feet, the knees, shifting the hips side to side, wrapping the shoulders back or drawing the triceps to rotate down and in towards each other, spreading across the upper back. And as we continue to breathe together through those 5 breaths, slowly find your way to stillness with each passing breath. So maybe those movements get smaller, hands and feet begin to root down more. Ankles and heels press back, quads firm up, tailbone reaches to the top back corner of the room behind you. Inhale, pressing into the fingertips, into the toes. Lift the heels and hips, roll through the spine as though you're leading with the back of the heart. Stack shoulders over the wrists for plank pose. As we exhale, bend through the knees so there's space for the tailbone to peel up and back. Downward facing dog. Let's do that 2 more times through spinal rolls. Take your time and follow the pace of your own breath. So really starting to notice that movement of the spine. Let the breath guide you through. 1 more at your own pace. And as we meet in downward facing dog, gaze back towards the ankles and heels. Inhale, start to walk the hands back to meet the feet. Exhale, pouring weight into the feet, forward fold at the back of the mat. Fingertips can stay on the earth or on the shins. Let's inhale, uncurl the spine, halfway lift. Notice the quads and the hip points reaching back, at the same time crown of the head reaching forward. As we exhale, keep that length in the flat back, folding just enough until you reach the edge there. And then come back to your halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, pass through that same space and then release through the crown of the head and the upper back all the way down into your Uttanasana to forward fold. 3 breaths here. Hands can dangle, arms can hold onto opposite elbows, opposite forearms. If you're holding onto the forearms, let's switch the cross of the elbows. And continue to let the back of the neck grow long. And then releasing the hands down to the earth. Big bend in the knees, so much that you can let the belly rest on the thighs here, lengthening through the low back. And then head stays heavy. Slowly take the time to roll up the spine as we rise up to standing. Head is heavy, let it come up last. And then as we slowly lift up through the gaze, blinking open through the eyes, let's roll the shoulders back a few times, continuing to broaden through that heart space. Root down into the heels and then equally find that distribution of weight across the toes and the balls of the feet. Think of the inner thigh bones wrapping back towards the back of the room, so there's a really gentle internal rotation through the whole leg. Pressing down into the feet to rise tall, inhale, sweep the arms up, fingertips or palms join above the head. As we exhale, this time interlace the hands, press the palms away. Once more, lifting up and out of the torso. Inhale here. Exhale, side bend to the right, this time standing. Press down into both feet equally. Inhale, come up to center, lift up and out of the waist. Exhale, side bend to the left, but root down equally into both feet. Inhale through center, this time release the clasp of the hands, fingertips or palms may join. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana at the back of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees looking forward, plant the palms and walk the hands forward into plank pose. Yeah, and And so in our plank pose, push the floor away, knit the ribs in towards each other, tailbone and heels reach back. Crown of the head gently reaching forward past the top of the mat. Inhale here, knees can be up or down. As we exhale, halfway bend through the elbows, elbows reach back as the heart pulls forward for chaturanga. Pause halfway, then knees down, hips, belly, all the way down to the earth. Yeah, really nice here. And so while we're on our bellies, let's untuck the toes, find the anchors in the feet, pressing into the tops of the feet, hands by the sides of the waist. Inhale, elbows back to peel the heart forward for cobra. Exhale, think of lengthening the spine as you place it down. One more cobra here. Inhale, lift, draw forward. Exhale, think of the low spine still growing long as you place the belly back on the earth. This time, take the hands wider than the mat, prop up on the fingertips, elbows are lifted but they still hug back. Notice the shoulder blades continue to draw together. Anchor through the tops of the feet here. Inhale, lifting up through the heart. This time as we exhale, melt that right shoulder down, look over the left. Inhale, come up through center. Exhale, melt the left shoulder down, look over the right. Legs strong here. Inhale, come up through center. Exhale, lengthen through the front of the chest as you release yourself down. Walk the hands back by the side ribs. Inhale, bend the knees, come back into your child's pose. Exhale, sink the hips. Keep the arms nice and long, plant the palms here. Inhale, lift the hips to tuck the toes. Exhale into our downward facing dog. From downward dog, inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, step or walk to the top of the mat. This time, inhale, halfway lift, come back to that nice long spine. Exhale, fold and release down. Legs are strong as we rise here. Inhale, sweep the arms up, fingertips or palms may join. As we exhale, stay standing tall. Think of watching the hands reach up and back, finding an upper back bend. Inhale, come up through center. Exhale, hands down to the heart space, Anjali Mudra. Taking a moment to close the eyes, to reconnect to the steadiness of the breath. And then from here, hands at heart center. Let's continue to move, flow with the breath. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward fold, leading with the heart space. Crown of the head follows down. Bend through the knees, send the hips back. Inhale, halfway lift here. Notice that long spine as the hips reach back. Whether the feet are together or whether the hip width apart, hug through the inner thigh bones. Inhale, keep sinking the hips back, draw the arms forward to our chair pose, our Utkatasana. Inhale, lift the ribs out of the torso. Exhale, sink the hips back, keep bending the knees. Inhale, hands pass through heart center. Exhale, forward fold, hips come up. Halfway lift with the inhale. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the palms, let's step the left foot back. Back heel is pressing towards the back of the room. Left quad is firm. Left fingertips are palm on the earth. Keep the back knee lifted. Inhale, sweep the right arm up, finding a twist in our high lunge. Option to keep that top arm, right arm lifting up and out. Or option to take the palm to the sacrum, broadening through our right chest, opening up through the right chest a bit more. Inhale, that top arm sweeps up and over, bringing the right fingertips to the earth. As we exhale, lift the hips, step that left foot in a couple inches, turn the toes out. Start to straighten through that right leg. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold over the legs. 1 to 2 full breaths here. Bend through that right knee. Inhale, step the left foot all the way back. palms to the ground. Exhale, step the right foot all the way back. So your choice, moving through the vinyasa, your vinyasa, whether that's knees up or down, whether that's cobra or lifting all the way up through the quads for upward facing dog. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Lengthen through both sides of the waist. Heels press back, quads firm back. Tops of the shoulders start to broaden by hugging through the upper arms. Inhale, reach the right leg up into space. As we exhale, shoulders stack over the wrists. Draw that right knee in towards the nose. Inhale, reach the right leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, shoulders over wrists, knee to nose. This time, inhale, one last three-legged dog. As we exhale, shoulders over wrists, knee to nose, then look over towards that left side. Shoot that right leg out to the left side. So you're in a funky, kind of twisted plank here. Really pour weight into that right hand. Push the floor away, lift up through that lower hip. As we exhale, the back left heel spins down. Stack the left arm up for fallen triangle. Think again of that right oblique lifting up towards the sky. Top arm can stay tall or sweep up and over to find that side bend. Inhale here. Exhale, take the left hand down. You're back into your funky twisted plank. Inhale, lower that bottom right hip down to the ground. And then look over that left shoulder. Start to turn over that left shoulder to face the back corner of the mat. Legs are wide. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold over in your wide-legged seated fold. One more breath, breathe into the low back and hip area, energetically expanding all the way down the spine. Notice how the body softens with the exhale. Then inhale, start to walk yourself back up to seated. As we exhale, we're going to turn over that right shoulder. Start to bend through that right knee like you're drawing the right knee to the front of the mat. Tuck the back left toes. Press the palms into the earth, lifting yourself up so that you can take the right knee behind the right wrist and you're on your right shin. So we're almost like we're setting up for a really active pigeon pose. Keep that back knee lifted. Press the right shin down into the floor. You can stay on the fingertips or soften that left knee down. Keep the back toes tucked so you have that support. Hands can stay on the ground or hands to the hips. Really drive the front shin into the floor. Hug the inner thighs together for balance. Inhale in your active pigeon. Exhale, hands to the ground. Step that right foot back. Yeah, and so again, your choice, moving through your vinyasa or skip the vinyasa and meet in downward facing dog. Allow yourself to be deliberate with the breath and with your movement. Checking in this reset point as you find your way to downward dog. Taking about 3 breaths, whether in downward dog or whether in our child's pose. Again, your choice, your practice. So allow yourself to choose what's right for you. Noticing again the length of the sides of the waist, drawing up through the spine, creating space across the upper back, whether in child's pose or downward dog. And then from here, meeting in our downward dog. Inhale, lift both heels, bend the knees, look forward. As we exhale, step or walk to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, send the hips back. Halfway lift this time with the spine long. Exhale, press into the heels, lift the arms up. You're back into your Utkatasana. Inhale in your Utkatasana, looking up past the hands. Exhale, press into the feet to stand. Hands come down to heart center. Rooting down in your Tadasana, stand tall. Inhale, take the arms up once more. Exhale, lead with the heart to forward fold. Uncurl the spine for your halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, fold once more. Think of the back of the hips reaching up towards the sky, the crown of the head melting down. Shake the head, yes and no. And then coming back to our halfway lift with the bent knees this time. Inhale, bend the knees. Sink the hips back so the belly rests on the thighs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, arms all the way up, back into your Utkatasana. Hug through the adductors, reach the hips back. Your choice here. Inhale, passing through heart center. Either exhale into your forward fold, holding for a few breaths, or as we fold into our exhale, keep the knees bent, fingertips and palms to the ground. You can take the knees wide, starting to play with the balance of your Bakasana. Gaze is slightly forward, really rooting into the base knuckles. Draw one heel up at a time. We're starting to balance with both heels, reaching towards the hips. When you're ready, take the feet down. Let's all, whether you're in forward fold or your Bakasana, take the feet down to the floor so we all have our feet on the floor. Inhale, halfway lift from here. Exhale, fold once more. This time, inhale, bend the knees to plant the palms this time. Bend the knees to plant the palms. Step the right foot back. Keep the back knee lifted, heel and quad firming in that right leg. Right fingertips or palm on the ground. Inhale, sweep the left arm up into the sky. Either keep that left arm lifted, or as we exhale, the palm can reach to the sacrum. Shrug that left shoulder head back to broaden through the chest. Keep firming through that back right leg. Inhale, the left top arm sweeps up and over. As we exhale, left fingertips to the ground. Step that right foot in, turn the toes out slightly. Halfway lift with the spine with your inhale, straightening through the left front leg. As we exhale, fold over your left leg. Hug through the inner thigh bones, reach the outer left hip crease back. Notice the length through both sides of the waist, reaching towards an even length. Inhale, bend through that front knee, fingertips to the ground. Step the right foot all the way back, palms to the ground, step the left foot all the way back. Your choice. Move through your vinyasa, being deliberate with the breath and with your movement, or purposefully choose to skip through the vinyasa, meeting in downward facing dog. From downward dog, inhale, lift the left leg up into the sky. Exhale, shoulders over the wrists, draw that left knee in towards the nose. Inhale, three-legged dog, lift the left leg. Exhale, shoulders over wrists, knee to nose. Once more, inhale, three-legged dog, lift up through the left leg. Exhale, shoulders over wrists, draw the knee towards the nose, then gaze towards the right side and shoot the left leg out. You're in a funky rotated plank. Inhale, pour weight into that left arm, push the floor away. Exhale, the back right heel spins down, lift up through the right arm for fallen triangle. Think of that left oblique reaching up towards the sky, lift up through the hips. Option to keep the right arm up or sweep it over, finding the side bend. Inhale, start to take that top arm down to the earth. Come back to your twisted plank pose. Exhale, lower the left hip down to the earth. I'm gonna look over that right shoulder, spin the back foot down, and start to face the back corner of the room. So we're in a wide-legged stance. Inhale, seated. Inhale, sit up tall. As we exhale, folding forward over the legs. Continue to engage through the legs as though the quad muscles are firming down into the thigh bones, as though the heels are pressing into the earth. Inhale, one more breath. Exhale, continue to fold. Inhale, start to lengthen your way all the way up to seated. And then as we exhale, we're going to start to turn over that left shoulder once more, coming to the front of the mat. So bend through this left knee, walk the hands to the front. Tuck the right toes under, press into the hands to lift that front knee, and then step the left knee behind the left wrist. Press down to that left shin, reach back through the right heel. You can stay here with the support of the hands on the earth. Option to keep firming down into that front left shin, soften the right knee down for support. Hug through the adductors here, either come up on the fingertips or with a nice strong flat back, hands at the hips. Finding your active pigeon here. So even in this grounded space, really connecting to the strength and the integration, not only in the legs, but through the torso and the core of the body. Finding that postural strength. Inhale, start to lean forward, hands to the floor. As we exhale, lift through that right knee, step the left foot back, plank pose. Again, your choice to move through your vinyasa or skip the vinyasa, and this time let's meet in child's pose. From your child's pose, root into the palms. Inhale, come up into our tabletop. From our tabletop, take extra notice to stack the hips over the knees. Now, keeping the hips stable where they are, feel the keeping the hips where they are, feel the ribs start to draw in towards each other. Inhale, hips stay stable, walk the hands forward. Exhale, begin to melt the heart down towards the earth for your Anahatasana or your puppy pose. The chin or the forehead may reach the earth, or you can simply gaze forward past the fingertips, keeping the head lifted. But notice that curvature of the low back to keep the hips where they are, while opening through the shoulders, melting through the heart. Press into the fingertips here to rise up through the chest. Inhale, walk the hands in. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. From your downward dog, lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward. With your exhale, step or walk to the top of the mat. Inhale, uncurl the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and release. This time, bend the knees, sink the hips back. Take the two peace fingers of your hands, wrap them around the big toes. Lengthen through the spine even with the knees bent here. Inhale. As we exhale, back of the hips rise up, elbows draw out, crown of the head melts down to fold. So the peace fingers are pulling up on the big toes. The legs are firm, hips reaching up, equally the crown of the head, and the sternum is reaching towards the earth. Can we soften through the shoulders here? Once more, bend through the knees. Halfway lift, this time release through the clasp of the peace fingers here. As we exhale, keep pouring weight into the heels, arms up. Utkatasana once more. Inhale in your Utkatasana, sink the hips back. Exhale, press into the feet to rise. Hands come down to heart center. Meeting with hands in Anjali Mudra. Come back to this sense of steadiness. Each breath reaching towards this feeling of slowing down, of creating space. You may even notice in this connection to steadiness the strength of your own beating heart. The rise and fall of the chest, the ribs, the belly, the strength of the legs, the length of the spine, the postural strength of your whole body working together as one. And so keeping that connection of your whole experience, your whole being, root into the feet, rise tall through the arms, inhale, sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. This may seem familiar, so just follow along. Inhale, bend through the knees, halfway lift. Let the belly rest on the thighs. This time, a little bit different. Plant the fingertips or the palms so you can turn the toes out to draw the heels in. Continue to sink the hips down, finding our way into Malasana. And so in our Malasana, think of the tailbone melting down so the back is nice and long. At the same time, lifting up through the pelvic floor, a little bit of Mula Bandha there. And the upper arms gently pressing against the inner knees to broaden through the hips, to reach the heart and sternum through to the hands. Where is there ease of breath here? Noticing ourself and our body for another 3 breaths. Simply observe what's happening in the body, in the torso, maybe even in the space of the mind. Can we meet ourselves here with compassion after we've spent much of our practice connecting to the strength of our core and our limbs? Can we still find that sense of nourishment here? One more breath of gratitude. One more exhale softly with compassion for the body, for the self. And then from here, fingertips or palms to the ground. As we exhale, step back onto all fours, cross the ankles, and then roll over the ankles and set the legs out in front. Yeah. From here, take the left sole of the foot to the inner right thigh. Right leg is long. Inhale, lifting the bottom of the rib cage up and away from the hips, and then leading with the heart space as we exhale, forward fold over that extended right leg. Notice if you can wrap the outer left hip down. Inhale, begin to lengthen, walk the hands back up. As we exhale, bend through that right knee. Let's switch sides, straighten through the left leg, sole of the right foot to the inner left thigh. Inhale, press the fingertips into the floor to lift the ribs up and away from the hips. As we exhale, heart leads forward as though it's reaching past the toes, and then hands walk forward to guide us into a fold. Keep noticing the outer right ribs wrapping down as well. Inhale, begin to lengthen through the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, walk the hands back up. Then from here, bend through both knees, soles of the feet to the floor. Shift the hips forward just so that we have space behind us on the mat. And slowly make your way down all the way to the earth. I'm going to face the other way just so that my eyes aren't in the sun, but you can remain just as you are. And let's meet on our backs. And so as we find our way onto our backs, for a moment, hug the knees into the chest. Notice the length of the low back here as we rock side to side. And then creating a nice counter stretch for the front side of the body after all of those folds. Let's take the soles of the feet down to the earth, finding a nice foundational and supportive back bend and also counter stretch. So arms alongside the body, root into the backs of the shoulders, the backs of the upper arms, and into the palms. Draw the heels down and even slightly forward into the mat. Inhale, curl the tailbone up, lifting the hips up into your bridge pose. Notice here in your bridge pose, can we keep the back of the neck long as the back of the head rests on the earth? Knees stacking over our ankles and gently reaching forward rather than in or out. Notice that gentle adduction of the inner thighs. Continue to drive the heels down and forward to engage the hamstrings, maybe even allowing us to lift up through the hips a touch more. And then really press into the back of your shoulders, or the tops of the shoulders there that are in connection with the ground, to support the chest and the heart space. Breathe into the low belly. Imagine even breathing into the pelvic bowl here, the whole front line of the body. Three more breaths. Keep driving the heels down and gently forward. Let the legs help to support you here. And then from here, slowly take the time to roll down through the spine. Let the tailbone come down last. And as the tailbone rests down, hug the knees into the chest, rocking side to side. Keep holding that right knee into the chest, elongate the left leg onto the ground. Right arm out to the side, straight out from the shoulder, or cactusing, bending through the elbow. With your exhale, guide the right knee across the body, but notice what it feels like to keep the right shoulder blade rooting into the earth. Breathing into the back of the ribs, the side of the waist. Slowly begin to unwind. With our next exhale, hug both knees into the chest once more. Rocking side to side or making circles with the knees. Notice the length of that lumbar spine, and then let's keep the left knee into the chest with the inhale. As we exhale, elongate that right leg onto the ground. Anchor the left shoulder blade into the earth. Inhale, left arm out to the side or cactusing, bending through the elbow. Our exhale guides the left knee across the body. Only so much while we can still keep both shoulder blades grounding and rooting into the earth. And then once more, breathe into the sides of the waist, maybe even into the low back space. with a gentle core awareness, let's slowly unwind with the inhale. Draw the left knee into the chest. Exhale, the right knee hugs in as well. Taking this last moment to find length in the low back, or taking anything else you need to feel complete in your practice, whether that's a happy baby or continuing to hug the knees into the chest. Finding what you need, and then when you're ready, taking the time that you need, begin to lengthen out through one limb at a time. So taking the time to expand, draw into the space around you. Again, allowing ourselves, giving ourselves permission to grow expansive and take up space. And as we grow expansive, once more, let us give ourselves permission to fully arrive in this space of rest, into our Shavasana. Taking the next 3 rounds of breath to notice where we're in contact with the floor, where we're supported by the earth, as well as noticing the spaces of balance in the body that naturally curve away from the earth. The back of the neck, the lumbar spine, even the space behind the ankles and the knees. Where can you allow yourself to soften here? And continue to remain exactly as you are in your Shavasana. Notice if you can lengthen through the back of the neck just a touch more by drawing the chin down, even just a centimeter. Trust in the nourishing, expansive quality of your own breath, the natural rhythm of your own body. And allow this time of rest, this time of integration, to bring the benefits of your physical movement and your physical practice into all the spaces of the body. Gently allow your next inhale to deepen, your next exhale to soften. While still on our backs, begin to notice the space of strength, the space of openness, the space of flexible resilience all throughout the body, from limb to limb, from core and spine, from inward to outward. And in this space of quiet reverence for our practice, for our bodies, on your next inhale, start to stretch through the arms and the legs, making small movements with the fingers and toes, bringing that awareness into the farthest spaces of the body. And then bending the knees, gently turn to one side. Pause for a moment, let the head rest on the upper arm. And then take that top arm with the hand to the ground, gently press yourself up. Let's meet once more in a comfortable seat. As we find our comfortable seat, allow the hips to ground into the earth, giving us even more space to grow tall. And as we grow tall through the spine, all the way up through the crown of the head, just as much as we root down all the way from the base of the spine. Inhale, gather the palms at heart center, connecting the thumbs to the sternum. And as we exhale, bow the inner gaze down to the heart, to that space where we set and placed our intention at the beginning of our practice. And so fill the heart once more with that intention, with that awareness. And then leading yourself off the mat from this connected heart space with this knowledge of our inner strength, our inner awareness, and our inner resilience. Let's close our practice today together. One last inhale through the nose. A big exhale through the mouth. And when we're ready, gently lifting through the gaze and blinking open through the eyes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.